David Boyle and I'm quitting alcohol. So I have finally got my Bitcoin into cold storage. I'd been fucking avoiding it forever because I thought it was going to be a complex process and I'm shit at technology. So I just kept on putting it off. But last night I fucking didn't go out to a gig. I'm like, all right, tonight's the night. I take what very little Bitcoin I have and I put it on a fucking cold storage device. So basically what you're doing is you're taking your Bitcoin off the exchanges because anything can happen in the exchanges. A few of them went bankrupt a few months ago. Cunts lost their fucking Bitcoin. Fucking hackers can get into your account, steal your Bitcoin. People can send a phishing attack to your phone and then steal all your fucking passwords and then just withdraw your Bitcoin from your account. A lot of that is not likely to happen, but there's a fucking percentage chance it will. So you want to get it off the exchanges and in your possession. So what you do is, what I did is, you buy a Ledger Nano X. I know most of you aren't going to listen to my Bitcoin advice until it's too fucking late. But the few of you who do, you're going to be very fucking happy later down the track that you took the advice. Everyone should be saving in Bitcoin. Don't fucking put your money in the banks. That's insanity. Even if you've only got fucking $10 a week, save it in Bitcoin. Not even to make millions of dollars, just to protect your fucking money. Your little fucking $10, okay? And also, over time, Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot more than you're fucking putting in there. I look at it, every cent I save is going to be $1 in like maybe the next 15, 20 years. Maybe earlier, probably earlier. Anyway, let's get back to it. You don't want to be on a fucking exchange. So you get a Ledger Nano X. Just go to the fucking website, Ledger Nano X. I think they're a couple of $100. Whatever, Ledger's like the top of the range. I think there's cheaper ones as well. I just went with what every other cunt uses. So you get your Ledger. If you haven't bought Bitcoin before, open an account. You can use Binance, fucking CoinSpot. In Australia, there's SwiftX, Digital Surge. There's heaps. Just work it out. So you get your fucking Binance account. You sign up. You send your ID in. You purchase some Bitcoin. Now what you do is you set up your Ledger wallet. You download the Ledger Live app onto your phone. All the instructions are on the Ledger. I'll just give you a fucking brief rundown. You choose a PIN that gives you access to your Ledger. It's just like a USB thing. Then you get a 24-word key. Now, this is the most important thing in your fucking life. Write down the 24 words. Keep them private. Don't fucking put them on your phone or anything. Hide them, not too well. Remember where they are, but you've got to remember these 24 words in order. Because that's how you're going to get access to your Bitcoin. Even if you lose the fucking Ledger wallet, all you need to do is buy another one, put in those 24 words, and you'll have access to your Bitcoin again. So you don't even need the wallet. You just need the words. The key, your private key they're called. So you get the 24 words, you confirm them, then you download the Bitcoin app off Ledger Live. This is so you can just store the key on fucking Ledger. So you download the app, you Bluetooth pair it with your phone. This actually sounds a lot more complicated than it is, but it's not. It's just because you're fucking driving down the road or eating a sandwich or something. You're not looking at what I'm doing. It's just audio, so it's a little bit hard to fucking visualize. You then get a public key. It's like the number your wallet is. It's basically an account number. So then what you do is you go to the exchange where you bought your Bitcoin. You say, send to wallet. And they're like, yeah, cool. What's your wallet address? You give them the address of your fucking Ledger, which you got given. All of this is very simple. When you're following the instructions, it's fucking easy. Then you send your fucking $10 of Bitcoin across. And in, I don't know how long it takes, maybe like 10, 15 minutes, that Bitcoin lands in your fucking Ledger wallet and you have your own personal fucking Fort Knox bank safe there. No one can touch it. The government can't get to it. No one can get to it. It's yours. It might only be fucking $10, but it's fucking yours. All right? Now, if war breaks out in your country or your fucking government becomes fucking authoritarian, or they bring in like a fucking social credit score system like China, or they just overnight decide some of the money's illegal like in India, or the banks just seize your money like in Lebanon, or the fucking government debases the currency by like 90% in 1 year like in Argentina, or the government puts a flag on your bank account because you supported the fucking truckers like in Canada, or all your assets just get seized like in fucking Russia, well, you've still got your fucking little bit of Bitcoin on the fucking ledger. As long as you remember those 24 fucking words, you'll be alright. I can't reiterate enough how important Bitcoin is. I'm not fucking joking. Anyway, it's fucking Boyle Breaks history time now. Even though that could have fucking passed as some sort of Boyle Breaks history, but I've already fucking looked into one today. And Boyle Breaks history for this week is the Magna Carta. To be fair, the only reason I'm talking about the Magna Carta today is because I've been watching a lot of Bitcoin shit and they keep bringing up the Magna Carta. I'm like, oh yeah, the Magna Carta. What the fuck is that? I had obviously heard of it before, but I had no idea what it was. If I was pushed, like if I had a gun to my head and someone was like, what the fuck is the Magna Carta? I would have said it was that fucking, you know that scepter thing, the golden scepter thing that fucking kings have with like the golden egg thing on top? I thought that was a Magna Carta. No shit. Anyway, it's not that. So let's get into the Magna Carta. So back in 1215, King John of England, big fucking nuts Johnny out there. He was on an absolute fucking tear back in the day. He was taxing cunts to fund the wars he was in. I think he threw his missus in jail, killed his brother or something. He was just running a fucking absolute muck. So back in 1215, it was the feudal system. It was the king on fucking top. He ruled everything. He owned everything. And then below the king, there were like the barons. And the barons got their land because they did some favors for the king. So he'd give them a little bit of a hill or something. And then underneath the barons were the fucking peasants, the majority. They worked the land and they were basically shut on. So Big Balls Jono, King John, he was imprisoning cunts. He was throwing them in jail if they refused his tax hikes. If he wasn't throwing them in jail, he was murdering them and taking back their lands. This was the barons as well. This wasn't the peasants. This is the barons he's doing this to. So after a while of fucking doing that, eventually the barons got together and they're like, fuck Big Balls. We are going to fucking have a few things to say about this. So they tried to fucking get John into some conversations to basically say what the fuck's going on. John refused. Then the barons got together and they basically fucking seized London or something. They got John out of his fucking hiding room. They'd fucking dragged him outside and they fucking sat him down basically at the fucking tip of a sword at gunpoint, but there was no guns back then. And they said, hey, we've had enough of your fucking bullshit, cunt. Here, sign this. And that document was the Magna Carta. It basically was the start of the Bill of Rights type shit. It had a load of fucking shit in it about goats and chickens and shit. But it had a few things in it like the king is no longer above the law. Up until then, the king had been above the law. Which makes sense because the king fucking ordained by God. So it had that in it, and it also had shit like cunts can't just be fucking thrown in jail for no reason. Like, there has to be a reason to throw them in jail, and they have to be fucking found guilty by a jury of their peers. That sort of shit was in there. Like, the first building blocks to democracy, I suppose. Like, they say it was like the first step, but it wasn't really like a noble document. It was done by the barons. The barons wrote it, and they were like, yeah, free men can't be unjustly fucking imprisoned and all that sort of shit. And who were the free men? The barons and the king. Everyone else were fucking indentured slaves, the peasants. They weren't free. And not only that, about a month after fucking Big John signed the fucking Magna Carta, which just means the Great Charter, he fucking tried to repeal it. He called out to the Pope. He was like, hey, Pope, I had to sign this bullshit about giving people some freedoms. I'm not into it. Can you say some shit? Can you denounce it? And the Pope was like, yes, 100% I can. And so the Pope put out a statement saying the Magna Carta is fucking void, null and void. And the people were like, no, it isn't. Shut up, cunt. And then England descended into fucking civil war. The barons were like, fuck Big John. I tell you who we want as king? King Louis of France. He's going to be the next king of England. So fucking Louis over there trying to fucking take over England with the help of the barons. And then Big John fucking dies of dysentery, and his 9-year-old son, I think it's Edward, Little Nuts, he becomes king, this 9-year-old little cunt. And he writes up a new Magna Carta with some bullshit in there, and that becomes the new document. And there was a few other Magna Cartas after that. It was basically the first time anyone had any rights put down on paper. But it was more or less ignored up until like the 1900s. So for like 789 years, it was basically just a little bit of fucking writing on some cowhide. No one really paid attention to it. And now everyone's like, yes, the birth of democracy. So that's what it is. That's what the Magna Carta is. I suppose you got to start somewhere, don't you? Rich cunts overthrowing the king. The peasants, life didn't change for the peasants. It never does. Anyway, that's the Magna Carta. I hope you've learned a valuable lesson today, Bitcoin-wise, Magna Carta-wise. So that'll do. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around, and I'll see you the fuck later.